it is a great pleasure for us to connect today. I know the time is not necessarily suitable for everyone, and we're just beginning to start forming or reforming, I should say, the Google for South Africa Educator Group. And my name is Nicole, and I've been asked to step in and try and reignite this community. And it comes from the passion that I have for educators and being able to empower them to lean into not me, but to all the incredible people that I know, some of which you're on this call, to actually really benefit from having that collaboration in the education space of working as a Google for Education school or a Google for Education educator, and just needing a community to tap into. So we're only kicking off today with an initial call, and hopefully we're going to spread the word about Google for Education in South Africa reforming. So in the past, I'd like to say a huge thank you to those who I know have run GEG South Africa in the past and have influenced so many people. There are Google partners, there are Google champions, there are amazing special humans in South Africa who have already spent a lot of time equipping others. And that's what a GEG community is about. It's about sharing the journey along the way and being able to lean into those who are a little bit further than us and lean down to those who maybe are not as far as us in our journey of implementing Google for Education tools in our systems and with our students and teachers. So it's great for us to at least make a start and begin to reform this community. I'd love for you to spread the word. I have started to just initiate a Google site where we will be able to gather those who'd like to join. And so on the slide deck, which I'm going to share with you, we will be able to actually share that site and have people sign up to join this community. We'll start forming a bigger and bigger network of people who can work together on the same mission. And so today, the first thing that I wanted to do was just to give us a chance to introduce one another. So if you're in the call, you can follow along with us. If you're watching the recording later, you will also be able to share the slides that I'm going to post, and you'll be able to jump in and create a slide of your own in the slide deck as you just introduce yourself to us as a community and have a little bit of fun inside of the slides. So I'm going to share those slides with you, and I'm going to give us a few moments, if you're able to do that now or later, just to create your own little slide. So you can see on mine, nothing special. There's nothing special about me. I'm just here to serve in this space. But I am a teacher. I have been a mathematics and music high school teacher. And so I have loved working with other educators throughout my life in many spheres, first in the classroom and then in the education technology design space as an author, and worked with lots of different technologies. Some of my favorites of which, of course, are Google for Education. And I was really inspired by someone who I know was instrumental to forming and gathering communities of Google educators in South Africa. Lindsay Westner was amazingly inspirational for me, got me onto the Google for Education journey, level 1, level 2, and then eventually trainer. And fast forward to now having an opportunity to be asked to reform this GEG South Africa and try to give us a space where educators can lean in and work together with one another on this journey. So my socials are on the page. If you'd like to follow me on socials, please do, not because of me, but because I like to share and learn from you as well, so we can be in a personal learning network together. And I'd love for you to create a slide. So if not now, at some point, if you want to grab that slide link, create your own, and perhaps post it on your socials so we can start gathering interest and we can start inspiring others to join in and collaborate in this way. So that's the first thing that I was hoping to do. I know on this call we have two incredibly special people, so perhaps they would like to say hello quickly. So Corinne, would you like to just introduce yourself and say hello?
Yes, sure. Hello, I'm Karin, and I also used to be a former English teacher in a primary school in Cape Town. And I was responsible for taking that school journey onto Google. I think we started in 2017, 2018, change management, changing teaching and learning, and we actually became a Google reference school, of which I'm very proud. And then because I realized how it changes my teaching and learning and made such a big difference in our school, that I also enjoy working with other teachers, um, equipping them and supporting them in the space of being able to change their teaching and learning. I'm also a Google certified trainer and champion. We've got all of those things. And it's a great community. And it's truly like, um, I just enjoy being a friend in edtech. I think our teachers, we have so much going on and everything. And if you can just have a support system and a network, it can just be like a friend, a soundboard of all of that. So I'm also excited to be joining this community and that that you brought this alight, Nicole. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Corinne. And I also can speak to some of the influence that I know your colleagues have had on me personally in my journey when I first became an EdTech coach and was supporting a school in that way where I needed to understand the Google
Yeah.
AdWords console, etc. I had incredible training by Deirdre, and
Yes,
it really equipped us to have the right safety net in
absolutely.
teachers. And I
Yeah.
wouldn't have had that intel if I hadn't been able to tap into that learning. So really appreciative of that.
Same journey. The same people helped me that helped you.
Yes, yes. And I also have the lovely Jen on the call. Jen, I'd love for you to introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Jen. I work at a school at the moment. I'm an IT manager there and a teacher, so I'm doing both jobs at the same time. I am really just trying to get Google into my school since they are very wishy-washy, and so I've been pushing it, and people have been loving it. So that's been great. Been teaching them all new things every chance I get. Yeah, so I've got level 1 and level 2, and then I became a trainer last year. So very excited about that, and just love Google and just love everything that it can do. And every time I show someone at school, they get all excited with me now. So I'm winning my little battle slowly but surely to get everyone all together. So
Slow and
yeah.
steady wins the race.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
Jen has been such an inspiration. She works with a lot of students who actually have been able to be empowered by tapping into the tools that support their accessibility journey. And so I know that you have really worked hard at being able to give students what they need to be able to learn more easily and learn with that support. So
Yes.
really, it's been
So
fantastic to watch the journey. Thank you so much for joining us.
there's that.
And so I think one of the things that I wanted to discuss today, although obviously we don't have a lot in the call itself, is what it means to have a Google for Education group. Many of us might have been a part of other Google for Education groups. And so we were going to just decide amongst us, and perhaps I'll post something for all of us to share, what it might mean for you. What do you feel like you'd like this space to be? One of the things that for me, I wanted to make sure that this space included was the fact that it needs to be somewhere where people can ask and learn from each other. So one of the things that you'll find on our Google site, and I'll just post the link to the GEG for South Africa site, is ways to ask and lean in. So we have a WhatsApp group. You can go to the site and you can sign up to that WhatsApp group if you'd like to be able to ask and learn from others in that space. We have a YouTube channel, we have a Twitter space and an Instagram space, and you can join the GEG South Africa group by just filling in a Google form to stay abreast of what's happening. We hope to have lots on the agenda throughout the year, but for now we're just kicking off with an every second Thursday connection point like this, where we can just get started with all things GEG South Africa. So if, Corinne, maybe you want to tell us a little bit about what a Google Educator Group means to you and what you hope this one would be like for others who join us.
Yes, sure. I think we if you're in the Google sphere, you work with Google Champions, you hear about all the GEG groups or GIG groups in different countries, and you can actually join an international. But I'm sure we can all relate that our environment in South Africa is quite unique, and it's great to have support and a network and a soundboard from people in similar situations in the same environment. So for me, I haven't been part of a gig group before, so it's my first one. And I think for me, it would just be a network where you can learn from each other, you can connect with each other, you can share each other's highlights and bright sparks and support each other, and then see from there on. I hope I answer your question, Nicole. I'm a little
Yes, absolutely.
brained out.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I've enjoyed in a Google for Education space, I've had the opportunity to interact with other gig leaders throughout the world, and they often have the most inspiring stories where people come and share their journey and how they've been able to manage to solve different classroom challenges with the education tools used purposely.
Yes.
And that just really helps to guide. Sometimes it'll be, I used this and this and this, and this was difficult because, and then you can actually be more prepared having that knowledge from somebody else. And you can then, in your own steps, use that advice and guidance. So that's been a real blessing to me, is meeting other people and joining in. And sometimes those stories are about very personal schools. You mentioned Google reference schools. So not only is there a journey for educators to become level 1, level 2, trainer, data coach, etc., that journey that's incredibly powerful. There's also a journey for a school. And Jen mentioned, a school may have Google products, but may not really take ownership of that Google school ethos fully at first. And going along the journey of actually fully implementing those tools and using the supports that Google provides for education, all the way through to possibly becoming a Google reference school, as you mentioned. And those Google reference schools then become lighthouses for other schools to learn from along the journey. What's worked and how has it worked, and how can you get support? Because the Google infrastructure does offer an enormous amount of support. And so it's great for us to be able to also reach out to other gigs as we connect with other places and learn from them. And for Google reference schools, which we do have several of in South Africa, we have recently had a new Google reference school announced, and that I'm not going to give you a spoiler alert. I hope we can share the story of in our next session. But it would be lovely for us to encourage more schools along that journey of becoming a Google reference school in South Africa as well. So we may gather some more information from others on what they would like GEG South Africa to be. But one of the things I thought I'd start off with in this gig is that I feel enormously privileged in the role that I'm in right now to be able to get to know both South Africans, who always make me feel the most excited about coming home to, because we are a breed of incredible people with a diverse culture, but also having been able to travel for work has given me an experience of being able to meet other educators and how they have a different landscape and how they have implemented technology. And one of those things that I wanted to share is it may not have been possible for everyone in South Africa to have been at an international technology conference. I know we have superb conferences here based in South Africa, one of which you're at the moment, Karine. Schoolscape is a favorite, a wonderful place for people to learn about different technologies that can be applied. But one of the big education technology conferences that I've had the privilege of attending is in London, and it's called BET. And so today I thought, for educators who perhaps weren't at BET this year or haven't had a chance to get to a BET type conference before, a really large scale event where lots of different edtech solutions come together and where Google for Education plays a prominent role, that we could take a look at what it looks like if you haven't been at BET, what BET is all about. So I'm going to just share some snapshots from BET and then some home stories of South Africans at BET as well. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy a little bit of what is it like to be at BET and BET unpacked for us GEG South African educators.
such a global community, and it's such an awesome opportunity to get to speak to teachers and leaders from so many different countries and so many different backgrounds.
I enthusiastically joined the panel discussion today because I think it's really important to have technologists and educators sitting together, trying to understand the power of AI and how to make use of it healthily.
You've got teachers and leaders able to talk to the suppliers. I think, it's a great conversation.
Well, that is the #1 convening place for EdTech, so we have to be here.
Honestly, this is our first big event every year. It's our first big event in the education space, and it is certainly the largest. It is the most exciting.
That gives us an opportunity to connect with those educators using the product every day, as well as the students.
And people really want to learn about technology, about AI, how it's going to help them transform their education systems.
We are halfway through the event, and so far we have significantly exceeded the traffic we expected. The traffic's been non-stop. Everyone's engaged. You can see behind me over here, lots of very, very excited people.
And so one of the things that I wanted to draw our attention to, of course, as we're a Google for Education group, is a special place that happens at BET called the Google Teacher Theatre. This is an incredible hub of innovation and celebration of Google tools. And I didn't want you all to miss out on what it's like in the Google Teacher Theatre. So I thought I would share a little bit of some of the 2025 highlights from the Google Teacher Theatre. One of the big highlights for me was being able to listen to and learn from an amazing educator named Luke from Britannia Village School in London. This school is a school that is very close to where the conference happens, and they open their doors every year for a week before the BET conference happens for other schools and principals and leaders to come and walk through and physically see how they integrate technology in their classroom spaces. I'm not sure if you ever have the opportunity to swap venues, but I would really encourage you, if you have a neighboring school that's also using Google tools, swap, even if it's an hour in your week. Go and visit their school, have them come and visit your school, and talk to one another about what's working, what are your challenges, and how you can help and support each other. In this particular school, one of the things that was amazing for us to hear from was not only Luke, who spoke of his journey when he was asked to step into the tech role in his school. He was actually not very excited about that. It wasn't his focus at the time. But tapping into that Google for Education journey, he grew to love the possibilities that were at play for Britannia Village School. And he has now grown that school into a very prominent Google reference school. And you can see sitting on the chairs inside the Google Teacher Theatre, several of his students. Now, this was incredibly inspiring for me. These students that he calls his digi-champs have actually become prominent voices in the school in terms of how they incorporate technology. No longer is it that teachers need to be driving the innovation of technology in schools, but also our students are often early adopters and very keen to train in a digi-champ role. And so Luke actually had each of his students come and present at the Google Teacher Theatre, an amazing opportunity for these young students to be facing adults and talking to them of real life stories of how the EdTech tools in the education suite have helped and impacted their journey in the classroom spaces. Students would say They wouldn't want to move schools if they couldn't take the Google tools with them, because it really has had such a big impact. And so that is one of the Google reference schools that was highlighted as a lighthouse school at the Google Teacher Theatre this year. That was a great privilege for us to listen to their lovely stories. As you can see here, Esther has got the mic, and she was telling us all about how technology has impacted her journey at school, and each of her friends took a turn to showcase one of the tools and its application in their learning. I'm not going to speak about me today at all, just to say that I was very lucky to have an opportunity to present at the Google Teacher Theatre some time ago. And one of the ways that this happened in a fun episode of several different stories was a demo slam. Now, the only reason I wanted to show you this was not to talk about me or to watch that video, but to say a demo slam can be an incredible way to inspire your teachers to have a non-threatening 1 minute of telling your teachers about something. Very often, if you're in the tech role in your school, you feel like your voice might get tiring for others because they feel like, well, you're the tech person, so that's what you would say. But in fact, if you can encourage others in the school, and if you give them a non-threatening 1 minute episode, you can call it a demo slam, just to tell you one thing that has changed for them in their classroom through using a Google for Education tool. You'd be amazed how inspired other educators are. I know some of the most impactful stories I've heard is where a teacher who was not the early adopter, somebody who pushed back against technology, suddenly had a moment where they realized there was an impact for how they could help their students with whatever tool it was. And when that person speaks to others, then it really, really resonates. So an idea for you and your team might be this week to ask someone in your staff to give a demo slam, just 1 minute, to sum up something of the education tools that they're using and the impact it's having either on their own teacher workflows or on their students' learning. And then I would like to have a special highlight today. A very, very dear colleague of mine, Frankie Cilliers. If you haven't had a chance to meet Frankie yet, I really do hope you'll connect with him. He is a true inspiration, and he was given an opportunity to present at the Google Teacher Theatre this year, 2025. We are all in an era of both excitement over AI and also an overwhelming challenge of AI in our classroom spaces. Not only do students at times have access to AI, and we want to encourage them to learn how to command AI technologies in a safe environment, to be able to flex their learning, to be able to grow their thoughts beyond what they initially have. But also, as educators, we have the challenge where we need to understand our knowledge of our students and not how well they can command technology and tell you what AI knows about a subject and topic. And so whilst we are all very much interested in figuring out AI, how do we include it? How do we not include it? How do we keep our students safe? How do we still take in work authentically from our students? One of the things that we need to not lose sight of is that technology is technology, and human beings and empathy is still vital for student learning and growth. And so we had the privilege of listening to an incredible session that Frankie prepared all about AI, but from a different standpoint. Frankie is both a Google certified trainer and an incredibly passionate educator who shared a very real story from his life of how it is important for us to make sure that we include empathy in the classroom. While there is AI needs to meet empathy. And he showcased how the Google tools can enable us to not forget about empathy and the human aspect at the classroom level with students. So we're going to listen to Frankie's presentation. He's given us his blessing to do so, and we're very grateful that we can share this with you today.
Empathy in the classroom. Please put your hands together. Welcome to today's session. I must probably take this right. Okay. This feels like Back to the Future. I'm just saying, this is very, very cool. It's so wonderful to have you all here today. So let me just not stand in front of the computer. I'm Frankie. I'm a former classroom teacher. I'm now a teaching and learning coordinator right here at CAMI, but I'm also a Google for Education champion. I've been in education for about 13 years, and it really is a phenomenal pleasure to be here with you all today. I just want to also give a huge shout out. We all need to put our hands together for the wonderful Happy to Host team and the Google for Education team who organized today's wonderful event. Woohoo! Okay, brilliant. Well done, guys. And it really is a phenomenal platform that you've created for all of us. So to share our stories and our love for education and our love for AI, and who knows, maybe today you'll get some singing. I'm just saying. Brilliant. Let's go on to the next slide. So I want to tell you guys, I don't need to actually tell you because you know this. AI offers us all endless possibilities. We know that AI changes the way we assess, the way we support our students, and the way we differentiate our learning and teaching. But sometimes we can quickly get caught up in the buzz around AI, all the AI buzzwords, and it is phenomenal. We don't disagree with that. But we can quickly forget about the most important thing right in front of us, and that's the human. Brilliant. So today's all about, look, I love AI very, very much. But today I'm going to show you how you can use AI to add that human element, the human spirit at the heart of education. Okay, so we're also going to do some hands-on activities today. Like I said, lots of singing. Wow, this microphone is so amazing, I'm just saying. Okay, brilliant. So, I'm going to start off with this photo. This was me when I was about 8 years old. I'm not cute, right? I wish I was still that cute. So I seemed like a very happy child in this picture, but often looks can be very deceiving. So behind that smile lied an endless chase to be emotionally accepted. So I've never shared this story before, but today's all about humanity and sharing your personal stories. At this age of 8, I remember once being called into a room where 4 teachers were sitting. As I entered the room, they asked me, why did your parents not pay their school fees? If they don't pay your school fees, we won't have place for you next year. What they did not know, that at that time my parents had lost almost everything. We had our electricity cut off, there were sometimes daily funds for food, but my teachers did not know that. There were also that day other teachers or other students standing in the line outside who also had to face that same embarrassment that I did. And through that story, I want to also share with you that I can remember they handed over a big letter to me and it had this stamp on it, said, account overdue, please pay. It had a person, I don't know if you've seen a stamp like that before, if it's a universal stamp, but it was on this envelope that they gave me. And as I was walking outside, I remember, oh, that's another cute photo, man, just saying. I remember feeling or experiencing feelings of shame, embarrassment, and I had a complete emotional disconnect from my teachers. I mean, at that stage, how could a child of 8 even answer a question like that? Why did your parents not pay their school fees? What I needed was what my students still need today. And after 13 years of education, I realized that it's not always about the academic outcomes, but more importantly, it's about the human outcomes. I needed empathy. I needed my teachers to check in and ask me, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Where's the time? I'm just making sure that I'm not going over time. I need differentiated learning and my teachers to actually know my circumstances. Fast forward to high school, and I remember walking here yesterday and someone said, who of you can remember your favorite teacher or something like that? So this was my absolute favorite teacher, Mrs. Van Tonder. We're still in contact on WhatsApp. And she had a 40-year career as a teacher. And these are actually, that's another photo of me. So these are actual photos of her performing on the stage. So I can remember when I went to her classroom, she added that human element to her lessons. She would often come to school wearing 2 different colored shoes, a coat with buttons as big as dinner plates, imagine that. But the fact is that she understood, she made an effort to understand what our circumstances were, but she didn't make it apparent that she minded what our circumstances were at the time, or what they were in the past. So she used to wear mismatching shoes. I remember the one time she had like a red shoe on and a blue shoe. But I remember those little things. And I want to ask you, if you think back to your schooling, did you have a teacher like Mrs. Van Tonder who saw the human in you? Is there anyone that wants to share with us about their favorite teacher that they can remember? That accepted you as a human, that embraced your probably not an English word, differentness and your uniqueness. Did you have a teacher like that? I'm sure we all had one teacher. Brilliant. So let me go to next. We're going to do our first demo, and I'm going to challenge you to find the human in our activity right in front of you. And I want to show you how easy it is to create a practical activity using Google Slides. I'm going to give you 60 seconds exactly to find the word human in that presentation. Are you ready? Did you make a copy? It's going to ask you to make a copy of the presentation. Woohoo! Brilliant. So for the timer, there's a timer on that slideshow, you'll see. But I didn't add any music, so I think I'll just sing for you. Okay, no, I won't sing. Okay, brilliant. Do you have the slideshow open in front of you? Did you make a copy? Are you looking for the word human? Okay, your time starts now. 60 seconds. Who can find the word human? Come, Claudia. Come, Claudia. Did you find it? Did you find it? Brilliant, we've got about 30 seconds remaining. Let's see who can find the word human. Did you find it? Good, and we've got 10 seconds remaining. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Did you find the word human? Who found the word human? Did you not find the word human amongst all those AI buzzwords? Okay, we're going to jump into a demo. Hopefully they get there. There we go. Wow, look how seamless that is. State of the art, I'm just saying. Okay, so where was the word human? Well, I actually hid it in 2 places. So this is just a way to show you how you can quickly create a practical activity to deliver a powerful message to other people. So let's quickly look at where the word human was. So it was actually grouped together with that block. However, the word human was in the title. And that's what I wanted to highlight through my personal story earlier. The human was right in front of my teachers, but they didn't see that human in front of them. So, do you see amongst a sea of AI buzzwords how easy it is to forget the word human and to forget the human in front of us? So, that's just a quick, wonderful, easy way to show you. You're welcome to replicate that as well. But we are sharing the slides as well afterwards with you. Okay, back to the slides. Back to the slides, please. Brilliant. Okay, we're going to go on. Okay, so I already showed you, it was in the title of the presentation. before AI, before you even think of implement AI, like I said, we all know it's wonderful, it's incredible, it's amazing. I love AI. We should think about the high, and we should ask our students how they are feeling. Because the verdict is in. In a recent study by ACT CERA, they revealed that students who participate in school-based programs that focus on SEL, social and emotional learning, it had a huge impact on students' learning. Sometimes, or not sometimes, students' academic performance is closely linked to the way they feel, to their emotions. So let's see what this study showed. The study showed that if you include SEL in your classroom, 9% of students in that study showed an improvement in social behavior. 9% showed an improvement in attitudes not only about others, but also themselves. 10% of students showed a reduction in emotional stress, 11% an increase in standardized achievement test scores, and a whopping 23% showed an increase in social and emotional skills. So SEL really matters. I'm going to show you, remember I said earlier, before you start thinking about or implementing AI, you should think about the hello and how are you feeling. So I'm going to show you a quick way how we can use or harness the power of Gemini and Google Forms to create an emotional check-in form for your students. So what did I do? I added this prompt into Gemini, and Gemini created the form for me. Do you know how you can ask Gemini to create a Google form for you? There's two ways to do that. You can do it, number one, in Gemini itself, and the second way in Google Forms itself. When you open Google Forms, you'll see the little Gemini pop-up appear, and you can ask it to create a form for you. So what did my prompt include? Well, I asked Gemini, number one, I gave it context. I said that I want to create an emotional check-in form. Please include my students' names in this form, because obviously I did that because I need to know who I need to support. I then asked Gemini to add a section that asks my students how they are feeling. And for fun, I just added 5 emojis. I also added a confidence question because I want to see what my students' confidence level is about what I'm teaching that day. So I said on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you in understanding the types of planets? And then I just added a question to show my students that I acknowledge that they want to learn more and that I really value their thoughts and opinions about the work or what they want to learn. I just added a question that said, what would you like to learn more about? So here you can see this is in Google Forms. What I can do is when you get this presentation, when it tests it out, you can simply copy that prompt in Gemini and it will create the form for you. What do I do then? Obviously, the next step is to analyze the results. And we all know how powerful Google Forms is, because when you export it, or you look at the responses first before you export it, it gives you a visual breakdown. So this visual breakdown is very helpful because it encourages you, or it provides you clear guidance on how you should approach your lesson that day. For example, I can see that 33% of my students that day felt kind of sad. I can see that about 17% for the rest are between happy and content and neutral. And I can also see exactly through a visual representation how my students feel in terms of confidence about the topic or the lesson I'm trying to teach. So what did I do afterwards? Well, I simply exported the results. Because, as we all know, that's the magic of Google Forms. You can immediately export it as a Google Sheet. So again, it gave me a nice visual breakdown of how my students felt that day, their confidence level about the topic or whatever I'm teaching that day. And then what I did was, I downloaded this as a PDF and I popped it into Gemini. I'm going to harness the power of Gemini again. Are you ready? Let's go. So now, Gemini, the differentiation dynamo. So you see how quickly it is to create the emotional check-in form? Now I'm going to use those results and I'm going to use Gemini to quickly create differentiated passages for my students based on how they feel and their confidence level about the topic. There we go. So what did I do? That's my example prompt. So again, this will be in the presentation. I say, Gemini, please use those PDF results, include my students' emotions and their confidence level about what I'm teaching that day, and create, remember we gave it context further because we added the names of our students, so it automatically links how they are feeling. So it created differentiated passages for my students. If I look at Muhammad, for example, look at how Gemini added a human touch to my results. Even though you feel sad today, Muhammad, remember that everyone has their ups and downs. So before I introduce my lesson and my content, I show my students that I care about them. So for Jessica, where's Jessica? Jessica, you are also included here. You're feeling content today, Jessica, and that's awesome. So again, acknowledging the emotion of my student before we introduce the lesson to them. And then we put the passages together, and you all have your own teacher favorites that you use to put your passages together. It can be Google Docs, Google Slides. And is Gemini available in Google Slides? Is it available in Google Slides? Absolutely. So I've got those wonderful passages. I can copy and paste from Gemini into my teacher favorite, Google Slides for this example. I'm going to do a demo. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to jump in. So there is my Google Slides example. So look at how beautiful I made it look. So I just chose a nice font. And then to create those images, I can simply use Gemini built-in. So I can say, whoopsie. Okay, so it's not doing it now. It's not doing it now. Let's go here quickly. I'm going to say create an image of an astronaut riding a skateboard. All right, and look at how amazing and quickly Gemini creates the image for me. So we all know probably how to do that, but I'm just showing you again how easy it is to create an image that completely brings your document to life. Okay, it's thinking about it. I was like, we dance so long for you. Okay, brilliant. But you get the idea. It's going to create the picture for you. And then, after you created it, woo! OMG, that is so amazing. Okay, so I like that picture, so I can simply pop it onto my page. So there we go, insert, and I can resize it and make it look nice. Love it? Does it make sense? Okay, brilliant. So now I created my passage, or my different passages. I copied my results from Gemini. Now it's still just words on a page. So now I need to bring it to life, and I need to add a next level of personalization to my activity. How do I do that? Through Google Chrome extensions. Have you explored on the Chrome web store before? If you haven't yet, do yourself a favor. There's wonderful Chrome extensions available. And one of them that you can use, back to the presentation. Am I too loud? Just I apologize. Okay, back to the presentation, please. Thank you. Well, we are back to the presentation. Brilliant. So I created my passages. So now, a wonderful Chrome extension, or an extension that you can find on the Chrome web store, is called Cami. Oh, if you don't recognize, this is my manager. She's sitting right there recording. Okay, brilliant. So what can I do in Cami? So I install the Cami Chrome extension, and I can completely bring my document to life. I can add video comments, text comments, voice comments, so I can sing or record my dancing for my students if I wanted to, and so much more. So let's quickly go on to the demo and show you what it looks like. Okay, demo, brilliant. So there are my passages, so I can personalize it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete those questions quickly.
Okay, we're going to take a pause at that point because this is a session all about Google tools. If you need to know, lean in on anything else, please let me know. But the session today was all about using Google tools to, in fact, bring empathy into your classroom spaces. And so we've seen Google Slides, Google Forms, we've seen Gemini help us to really establish a connection with the students on an emotional level, as well as to cleverly bring together those different tech tools that construct something meaningful for us in the classroom to judge how are our students doing and how are they feeling and how are they coping with the work. So it was really such a pleasure to be able to share a little bit of the Google Teacher Theatre with you today. And before we wrap up, I just want to thank you for being here and remind you of some of the ways that we can start tapping into the community right here in South Africa. Even if you're not able to get to an international conference, we can bring those international conferences to you. We can share inspo with others throughout the world. And it comes to you in the form of a Google for Education community platform. If you're not already tapped into this Google for Education platform, please do make sure that you get connected to it. Here is a link for today of our slide presentation. In that, we'll have the slide templates that we referenced in the beginning, where you can, in fact, create your own slide and introduce yourself as a new member of the Reignited GEG South Africa. And you can see the link to this Champions Hub. Really a fantastic space. If you are just beginning your journey and you would like to become a Google champion, please, we would love to help and support you. Let us know where you're at and how we can do that. As a Google for Education group in South Africa, we are going to be all about supporting education and empowering teachers. We are going to connect every second Thursday of the month at the same time, 4 to 5, at the same link. And we may have other events on as well. So if you would like to keep a lookout and stay abreast of things, please do find your way to our Google site, where you can sign up to be a member and you can keep up with all of what is on the go for us in South Africa GEG community. And that will allow you to stay connected and also to sign up for different events. If you would like to share your stories, our next event next month is going to hopefully highlight some of our Google reference schools in South Africa, and it is going to highlight some stories of educators in South Africa that we can learn from and we can grow with. So we are going to definitely showcase stories next time of those in our GEG community. The site link I've just popped into the chat for you. And I would love to see if you're able to encourage even 1 or 2 other educators to join this space. You can use the slide template to have them pop their photo on, tell us a little bit about them, and perhaps you can post on socials so that we can also grow this community. So there is a template slide here where you can pop your own photo on. You can then download as a JPEG and post on socials if you would like to encourage others to join us. Thank you so very much for today, especially to Corinne and Genevieve and Jenny for being in the call with us, and to those who listen at a convenient time when you can. Thank you for joining in this community and for committing to helping one another. If you're a little bit further along the journey, I'd love to be able to connect you with somebody who needs your help. And if you are needing help, I would love for you to be able to lean in and receive that help from others in our community. As I said in the beginning on the Google site, there are many ways to connect. Please do sign up with the Google form for the GEG community. There is a WhatsApp group that's going to be forming over the next couple of months. You can join that group as well. And you can follow GEG South Africa on Twitter and Instagram. Please do dig in, and thank you for being in this journey together with us. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thanks, Corinne. Thanks, Genevieve.
Bye.
Thanks to everyone who's tuned in, and we'll see you next time.